There might be enough manpower, but funds are insufficient. That's why people in La Mercy have opted to take matters into their own hands and repair damaged infrastructure following the devastation caused by the recent floods in KwaZulu Natal. eNCA reporter Heidi Giokos is on the ground. Let's cross over to her live for the latest. Now, Heidi, we're talking to you now. You're still on that bridge in La Mercy. Apparently, that bridge was faulty before the flooding itself. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, so what community members are alleging is that when this bridge was built in 1987 and there were serious floods in KwaZulu Natal back then already, it seems as though there were issues already, and in fact 2 police officers were standing on this bridge in 1987 when this bridge washed away, and there was reconstruction of this bridge, but community members feel it wasn't done properly, and this is why we have the very same problem years later when there were serious KZN floods, and part of this bridge has now also been washed away. Before we listen to what the community member indicated, I want us to just perhaps take a look at the situation here. So this is a very important bridge. It connects La Mercy, other areas, Belito, into Umdloti, and then further down into Durban. So many use this route to get to school, to get to work, people working more into the inner city, and they cannot now use this bridge. As you can see, my colleague Jokomane is showing you the damage here. There's a lot happening under the bridge, which we of course can't show because we can't get there, but apparently a number of, or the main pillar has been washed away on both sides, so they can't even use one lane. What we've also been told is that, residents here have to use alternative routes. It's 40 kilometers extra that they have to drive. It's traffic, it's petrol. Luckily, the toll gates have now also been, you don't have to pay to get through the toll gates because this is just some reprieve for residents and whoever else needs to get through. But let's listen to what one of the task team members trying to rebuild this bridge had to say.
Initially, when this bridge was damaged, we got together as a community and we informed the necessary role players, and we expected this bridge to be one of the priorities, being a link road. So unfortunately, at that time, this whole issue was escalated to national government. And then we have to wait for funding. So in the meanwhile, what we did, we have our own engineers that had done a feasibility on this bridge, and we identified there was lots of loopholes around the initial construction, and to do a full-time proper reinstatement would have cost a lot of money and lots of inconvenience. So we decided that, look, as a community, let us get together and backfill this and have access, whilst the powers are making up the mind to develop. And that would have taken about another 6 to 8 months. And in the meanwhile, we'll have our lives back together as an interim. And then we hit a roadblock because we were not getting both the permission and we were not getting the funding. So we had a meeting, and thanks to our Premier and our MEC, they have come to the party, they had a meeting. And the problem we are sitting with now is they have a team ready to do the construction, but they have no material or no fundings for that. And so our Ratepayers Association, together with a JV with our local neighboring towns, which is Desanagar, Sea Tides, Westbrook, and Simbali, we are trying to pull our resources, financial resources, to procure the material and get this thing going.
Now, Heidi, I mean, it's fascinating and also wonderful at the same time to see communities doing their own thing, and and you're there in La Mercy, but that is not the first time that's happened, is it? It's happening all over KZN at the moment.
Yes, certainly, Tony. This is a very big problem, and while the floods have stopped here in KwaZulu Natal, the disaster remains because it's all about picking up the pieces and mop-up operations. I'm going to ask my colleague JK to just show you, which I think just paints the picture once again about how dire the situation is. Further down, the visuals that JK is showing you shows you I presume it's a security guard. He just walked past us now, having to walk to the nearest taxi where he can get a taxi, because he cannot get the taxi to come here because the road has been blocked off. So they have to walk very far, kilometers on end. We also spoke to another lady earlier on who's now indicated that they have to walk kilometers on end because the taxis can't come through. It's becoming dangerous because there's no street lights on this road. When we spoke to some community members earlier on, they indicated that there's also an issue of many people being mugged now because this road is completely secluded and there's no visibility here. This road is not being used. So it's a very big problem. There are so many problems, Tony, that many people are facing here in KwaZulu Natal. Infrastructure has been damaged. People can't get to work. Some people have had to move out of La Mercy, Belito, all these areas further up because they can't deal with the distance, they can't afford the petrol, and they need to be closer to work. They can't wake up very early because to drop off their children at school, so they have to just move closer to the area and the vicinity. So it's many problems, and of course the municipality and government officials are trying to keep up, but at the end of the day they have to also prioritize, and it becomes very challenging. Community members saying and feeling that their problems and what's caused by the floods is priority for them, but of course government needs to find a way to deal with all issues, and that's why this community is saying we'll just take it upon ourselves and fix the bridge, because if we have to wait for government, that could possibly take 6 to 8 months.
Heidi Giokos, they're reporting for us in La Mercy in KZN. Wouldn't want to be the provincial government there. Rock and a hard place indeed.